Howdy folks. So in today's video we're going to talk a little bit about Vancouver and our experience of being here. Now I know it sounds like a lot of the other videos, but hey, we've been here for 6 months now. We arrived in January, at the end of January, 20th, 22nd, I can't remember exactly, is when we arrived, and it is now July. So there we go, exactly 6 months later. And I just wanted to give you an update on our experience and what we feel and how we find it, because you know there's often obviously a lot of people asking about that. So what do you think? Are you glad you made the move? Is everything really better on that side like everybody believes? And it might turn into a long video, so for those of you that are really interested, just hang around. I'm going to cover a whole bunch of things, but anyway, so let's start off with a short answer for those that's in a hurry. We love it here. We really think it's a great thing. My family enjoys it. Every single one of us are very happy that we are here. As a parent, I am super happy because I can see my children opening up and embracing their new life. Now, having said that, I must also admit that, we were on the road and we were very kind of all over the place for the last 5 years. So it could be that it's Vancouver. It could also be that they are just so happy that they are in a place where they can settle down. Although I doubt it. I mean, I do think it could be age related as well, I guess. But I do suddenly feel like my kids have more freedom, which is the important bit, I know for a fact that in South Africa, I would not have let my 13-year-old daughter jump on a bus and go to the store, go to the mall, or go and hang out with her friends somewhere on her own. I just wouldn't. Now, it could be me, it could be that I'm wrong, or that I just have a weird idea, but the fact is I would never have let that happen. I know for a fact that, my son, he's also opening up in school. He's enjoying life. We got people driving up and down the cul-de-sac here. But then also, I got to tell you, not everything is always better on the other side. So I'll try and dive into a whole bunch of those, and I'm probably going to forget a whole lot of things. But let's go. Let's touch on all the different things that I think is better here and the things that are not better. So, number one, the main reason we're here, security. Obviously, we feel a lot more secure here. Security is a lot better. I don't know, we just don't walk around looking over our shoulders the whole time. We feel safe, which boils right back to what I was saying about my 13-year-old daughter. I mean, she goes to the mall and she does her thing. They go from school to the mall, then they go to the beach, then they go to they catch the bus back home. I mean, that's just the kind of thing that we would have never done in South Africa. Security, I mean, on Friday night we went out for drinks in Yaletown. You don't drive drunk here because you just do not want to risk it. You don't drive drunk anywhere. But anyway, so we took the bus, and we had 1 or 2 margaritas too many, I guess, so we were pretty a little bit tipsy, and we took the bus back, but unfortunately the bus didn't stop close to our house, and instead of getting an Uber, we just walked. I mean, we walked at night. Good Lord, when I was back in South Africa, even in Lonial, which is a nice area, my wife almost had a heart attack if I walked at night, because it's just not safe. Yeah, you're fine. Nothing's going to happen to you. It doesn't mean there's no crime, but generally, security is a big yes. It's a win. And now I also have to say that I can't speak for the rest of the place, but I do believe it's very much the same. I'm pretty sure there are neighborhoods like West Van where you've got all the homeless people, where you will be a little bit harassed. I doubt that anything serious will happen to you down there, but nothing like in South Africa, violent crime. There are violent crimes, but it's not even remotely as much as in South Africa. And I also think it's more, how would I put it? I think it's more like people knowing each other. It's not like a randomized crime. I mean, some random guy isn't going to pick you up and murder you and do all weird kind of things like in South Africa. So security, definitely a +1 for Canada. I mean, without a doubt, you just can't compare it. Healthcare, I mean, Canada's got the best healthcare out there, but like I said in one of my earlier videos, it's not necessarily you get the healthcare, and it's free, which is great, but you got a queue and things like that. We luckily have not had to actually use it. I mean, the closest we came was with our injections, our vaccinations the first time around, and that wasn't at an healthcare facility, that was just at the rec center. But so far, as far as I know, healthcare is cool. I mean, if you really need help, you will get help really quickly, and they will take care of you. If you don't really need help, there's a little bit of a gray area. And I know people say, well, if you don't really need help, then why would you even bother? Now, in South Africa, at least, you could quickly pop into the doctor and say, hey, my foot's sore, my this, my that, and they will take a scan because it costs you money. Apparently, yeah, you can do that if you want. If you do have cash and it's fairly expensive, you can go and be a little bit of a hypochondriac and have everything checked out. But through the normal healthcare system, it's probably not, you're going to wait. Just check my videos. There's another one about healthcare. You wait. That's how it works. It's not immediate for non-life-threatening or non-serious diseases or problems. They will just book you in when they get a chance, which might be now or 6 months from now. What else is there? So healthcare is, on par. I'm pretty sure we've got good healthcare here. And now once again, I'm talking about, I shudder to say this, but our style, our class of living, we in South Africa, we were upper middle class. Here, I guess people think we are upper class because we stay in this big house, which is not exactly there. But anyway, which brings me to one of the things that is not so good when you are out here, and especially for us on this side, is cost of living. Understand, cost of living is substantial, but once again, that is, if you think about it in ZAR terms, in rand terms, it is extensive. It's expensive. But when you turn it around into earning Canadian dollars, then things aren't that expensive, except housing. Housing is a little bit of a problem. You're not going to come and rent a nice house here on the North Shore. Man, if you're a family if you need a 3-bedroom house, I was looking again today, you're not going to get away for under, I guess, about $3,500 for a decent place. And that's a substantial chunk of change. $3,500 a month. If you just think back, if you just calculate a salary roughly, you've got your taxes are quite high. I think it's about 20, or it goes up to about 40% also. So you've got a very high tax rate, personal tax. So just for argument's sake, let's work on a tax rate of 30%. So if you wanted to pay $3,000 a month in rent, or $3,500 a month, you need to earn, I guess, around $4,500 to $5,000 a month just to pay your rent. That doesn't include all your other expenses. That doesn't include your amenities. That doesn't include your internet, your food, and all your other things that you want to do. So if you're going to be coming over, you've got to make sure as a family that whatever job you get will pay you enough. That's one of the biggest concerns in Vancouver at the moment, specifically Vancouver. And look, if you go out to places like Nelson or smaller towns, it's completely different. Vancouver is an anomaly. Vancouver, and I think Toronto, they said. I haven't been there yet, I don't know. But Vancouver is definitely an anomaly. The property and house prices, the rental prices, everything is a lot more expensive here. I was on another site the other day. Most young people live in communes. They share flats. They're like, hey, I can pay up to $800 a month or $1,000 a month. I'm looking for a flat with 2 other girls or 2 other guys. So there's a lot of that going on. People sharing apartments. Because especially when you're young, it's not easy to afford it. It is expensive. Property, rental, buying, it's expensive. And you know, when you come from South Africa with a bit of cash, if you come in on a PR or you come in on if you come in on a permanent residency or certain types of visas, you can purchase a house and you don't have to worry about the whole 20% buy foreign owners tax. It makes a big difference, and you can buy a property. The interest rates are very low right now. I think, what did they say, for $500,000 it will cost you about $2,000 a month. So still, I mean, looking at house prices around here, I was looking up and down West Van where we are, and a little bit further down North Van side. Man, a 3-bedroom home, you're not going to get away under 2 million. I think I saw one for 1.4 million out in out in Lions Bay, and it's a 3-bedroom home, but it looks like a big bungalow. So you know that, and it's old and it's a little bit worn, and you know. So the thing is, you're not going to get away under 2 million. What were they saying? The median house price in North Van is now $1.9 million, and in West Vancouver it's $3 million, the middle average home price. So, you know, it's expensive. You got to know that when you come here, you need to have a plan. Firstly, you're going to need to have some savings to keep you going and to help you settle in. And secondly, you're going to need you need to make sure that you earn enough money to actually pay for it. I mean, to be quite honest, that's currently one of my biggest concerns. We don't actually earn enough money. We're bleeding off some of our savings and some of our cash that we've put away a long time ago to keep on surviving, because, you know, renting this property even at a massive discount, staying in the North Shore, is actually not what we can afford. We actually need to maybe look at places a little bit further away and try and get the rent down to about $2,000 a month, which would make it better for us. Well, either that or we need to start making some money, a lot more money suddenly. Which brings me to the next thing, is I do think that living in a first world country, and this is not just Canada, this is America, and I guess even Australia. You know, sometimes I think about how hard I worked and everything I did in South Africa, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I've just been here and I did it here, I would be so much further along. You know, in South Africa we had a very successful business. We did really well. We did big jobs, we had big money coming in, and it was great, but it wasn't enough to be great here. You know, if I grew up here and I purchased this house 5 years ago for $1 million, it would be now $4 million. You know, it's so I think that is the next thing that I want to touch on. I really think that for my kids growing up here, going to school here, it will give them a bigger opportunity to get out into the world. I mean, I was chatting to somebody just recently. I gave them an idea for a cool way to a job board for South Africa. Anyway, long story. But and I was like, well, you know, you get it set up, and why don't you just get funding? And he was saying that it's impossible to get funding in South Africa for anything. It's literally just sorry, let me just check what's happening here, if you guys are still on. Anyway, so he was talking about in South Africa there's almost no money available for funding, you know, startups, investments. It's really, really hard. Whereas here and in the US, there's a crap load of money, especially for youngsters. You come up with an idea and there's people queuing up to give you cash to try it out, you know. So I do think the opportunities are a lot more. And, you know, obviously the other thing that's also very important and that makes a big difference, and it was definitely a consideration for us, in South Africa with the economic empowerment, which, by the way, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. This is not why we're here. We're not into this for the political side. But in South Africa, with the economic empowerment and the quotas on jobs and the quotas on studies and things like that, it does mean that my kids have a smaller chance of landing a big job, because there's a bunch of other rules that come into play. It does mean that my kids have a smaller chance of actually finding a career. Whereas over here there's a lot less. Look, there's also some diversity corrections and things like that. It happens. There was a time when things weren't done right and it needs to be rectified, whatever. But the thing is, it's a lot less. Over here you can still find a job. Yeah, people get special points for hiring women or First Nations or a few other categories, but there's still a lot of opportunities. Over here, a lot still happens based on merit. I mean, this is what the first world is all about. Things have changed where it's not about what you like, your sexuality, your anything. It's about merit, and that makes a big difference. So if you're good at what you do, you're going to be fine, and that's a good thing. I like it. It's really good. Which brings me to another positive thing is the people over here. I mean, I often go on, we've been all around the world, and we often see people talking about these groups and on these groups about how rude people are in their new countries and how they don't get accepted and things like that. And I got to be honest, for us, we have not experienced that. Actually, to the contrary, we find that everywhere we go, oh, you're South African? Yeah, I know some other South Africans, and we tend to get along. People chat with us, and it's great. We don't have any of that problems. Not come across anybody that's specifically rude to us or looks down on us. But then, once again, Canada is a land of immigrants, and especially Vancouver. I think, what are they saying, by 2030 more than half the population of Vancouver will be not from Vancouver, not from Canada. So people are very friendly. You just also have to do your part. You got to go out and go and be friendly to other people. Otherwise, if you just stay in your house, you're not going to get anywhere. One of the things that, this is something that as an Afrikaans parent I have to kind of internalize and focus and, be clear about, is that you got to understand that Canada is a much more socialistic country, much more left-leaning country. And I think sometimes we think, hey, we want to escape South Africa, we're going to go to Canada because everything works there. Yes, everything works. Most things work really well. But when you come here, you are going to run into a much more liberal society. And if that's not for you, then probably Canada is not the place that you should come to. When I say liberal society, I mean the kids in school, they talk about sexuality, cannabis is legal, people walk around, smoke cannabis, pop cannabis pills everywhere. I know there's a lot of people that don't agree with it, but there's a lot of people that agree with it and do it. There's cannabis shops on every street. You can just buy and it's legal. It's like, there's no issue. So people are very open with that. You'd have kids coming along, going, yeah, I'm gay, or I'm this, or I'm that. It's a very open society, and in the schools it reflects that. Kids are very much more, I don't know what the term is, and sometimes it's a little bit harder for us more people that grew up as in Afrikaners, where you had a very strict upbringing and you had to follow the rules and things like that. Kids over here, they're not exactly like that, and you got to embrace it. We made peace with it. We like, hey, I would rather have my kids trust me and come and talk to me about these things than go the traditional route of just making a rule and bumping heads. I mean, I tried it a couple of times. I don't know. If those of you that have had teenagers, you know it's not the easiest thing in the world, and they are at a rough time in their lives. So, you know what? We embrace them. We try and lead them through our own example, and for the rest, we love them. That's what we can do. But back to the point, you know, this is a much more liberal society. It is much more. You know, you can't come in here and be like, I don't like that, and you know, you can't be negative about things. What's negative? You know, you can't be complaining about things. You got to come and accept it and become part of the group, and that's I guess it. You know, just to give you an example, I wanted to launch the Best of Vancouver book. And I spoke to the guys at Vancouver Tourism, and they came back and they said, well, you know, the best of isn't necessarily a term that we want to use, that we want to be part of, because the best of implies that there are people that are not the best. You know, now I grew up in a world where, hey, yeah, that guy's good, that guy's not so good. Okay. But there is a swing in society these days to be like, oh, well, that guy is good and that guy is also good. You know, it's the whole let's give everybody a trophy movement. So, yeah, it's not, sorry, I just want to check that we're still recording. It's not as simple always, you know. You gotta also understand that from your side, you're gonna have to stick some of the things that you got brought up with in your back pocket, and you got to deal with it. There are restitution here, there is arguments, race arguments, it still happens. Not too long ago there was a whole story with the First Nations, the Indians that was here first, they call them the First Nations here. And I don't know the whole story, but I mean, there was at some stage the government or the Catholic Church came in and they took all the youngsters away from the Indian or the First Nation families. They stuck them into Catholic schools to educate them, and now recently they've been starting to finding graves at these schools, you know, unmarked graves, kids that died and just got buried and, you know, never had proper burials, and I don't know. So it's a whole story, you know, and it's just to give you an indication over here, people take it very seriously. When they dug up 100 graves at the one school, we actually got mails from the school about counseling for the kids, and to me it was a little bit like, what? I mean, my kids, they playing games, they don't know about that. But yeah, anyway. So a lot of things like that gets taken seriously. If you join any government organization or go to a conference or anything where there's government involved here in Vancouver, you will notice that they always open up with thanking the First Nations for the land that we're on. So, you know, it is what it is. And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You know, I don't see any problem with it, really. So if that's what we got to do, then that's what we got to do. Okay, what else is there? Quality of life. You know, I mean, you've got all the stores here, you've got all the groceries, you've got everything your heart could possibly desire. But I suppose you've got the same thing in South Africa. I mean, it's not that much different. You can find everything here. One thing that I do believe there's a larger access to over here, it would be the healthy food, so healthy options. Not that I'm a healthy options type of guy. There are a lot of organic foods and plant-based foods, and they really are. I mean, it's almost like you struggle to find a shopping store that's just got the old processed foods. Everybody is focused on health, and I don't know that it's just a Vancouver thing. I think it's kind of all over Canada, but definitely in Vancouver, that is access to healthier foods is a lot. Outdoor lifestyle. Okay, well, now it's summer. It's a beautiful sunny day. I mean, look at all the little boats out there on the Sound and Stanley Park in the background. People get out, people do stuff outside, which if you're that way inclined, we try and force ourselves. We're generally not that way inclined. We are more the lazy people, which is why this video channel is awesome, because I need to show you things, so that forces me to go out. We're going to go to the beach a little bit later on. But anyway, it is a very outdoorsy lifestyle, you know, which is, I guess, in South Africa as well, but not as much. Over here, people really get the hell out of the house on beautiful days and on not so beautiful days. They go to the beach. Mountain biking, if you're a mountain biker, then this is heaven, trust me, because I mean, there's just mountain bike paths everywhere. You can ride your bicycle on the freeway. This is one of the most scenic, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. You know, it's just phenomenal. So if you like mountain biking, if you like hiking, this place is amazing. If you like swimming and lying in the ocean, then I don't know, the water is a little cold. Not 100%. And you know, you don't have a lot of sandy beaches, it's more rocky beaches, but there are a few sandy beaches around. What else is there? Oh shit. Taxes and red tape and stuff like that. You know, it's the same as the rest of the world, I guess. Whether you're in the US or in South Africa, you're always going to have government bureaucracies to deal with. I do feel like in Canada, they're at least trying to make it a little bit easier. There's personal taxes are high. I think Canada is part of this group that's now agreed, you know, all the countries internationally to cap or to make business taxes 15% or a minimum of 15% across the board. So, you know, that's not horrible. It's 15%, I think, is more than fair. They do have a slightly different system that I wish these people can fix. Canada is not as bad as the US, but yeah, you know, you still have it. We don't have just like a simple flat VAT rate or a GST rate. You've got all these taxes. You've got sales taxes. You've got a GST, which is across the board. It's 5% everywhere in Canada. No, I lie. Sorry, it's 5% in most of the provinces in Canada. But then you've got Quebec that's got HST, and then in Vancouver it's GST plus PST. So there's all these little extra tax things that they have, which is one thing that I think South Africa has got 100% right, and the rest of the world, America and Canada, just haven't. You know, when I walk in the store in South Africa and I've got $10 and I go, this thing costs R5 and this thing costs R5, it's R10, I can go and I can buy it. Yeah, it doesn't work like it, because when you get to the toll, they're going to add GST and PST and whatever else onto it, you know. So it's just so stupid. Why not mark the thing with the tax included so that you can calculate if you've got, you know, where you're at. Anyway, that's definitely something that the Western world can look at figuring out. Just put the prices with tax on the product. Why not do it? Because, you know, it's just, anyway, that's kind of silly, but it is what it is. All right, what else is there? Spoken about the outdoor lifestyle. Yeah, there's really a lot to do around here, and it is just these big trees and everything. I'm one of those people that believe that being in the bush actually reinvigorates you and gives you a little bit of a, you know, connection with nature, and it's a good thing. And I love the forests. I love these trees. I love to go walk around in them. We haven't been here during the main rain months, so I'll do a report after that. A lot of people say that it gets very dreary and very wet for a very long time. So we're expecting that. I think they said in October, August, September, October is when the rainy season starts. Oh, one of the other cool things is the summer holiday. Kids were so excited to have their first summer holiday. Because here the school's closed at the end. Sorry guys, I had to fix this because I had my numbers wrong. The school holiday is from the end of June till the beginning of September, so it's actually a 2-month long summer holiday. Anyway, here we go again. You know, the kids can go out and do stuff. Now normally people would send their kids to camps or summer holidays when people go away and do stuff. That's really cool, I think. You know, it's just kind of a nice solid break, half year, and then you have your Christmas break again, a shorter break in the snow and in the cold. So everybody loves the summer holiday. What else is there? If you have, paperwork is obviously an absolute pain in the ass. One thing you got to remember, which was an absolute, you know, it's just not as easy as you would think it would be, was to come and get our driver's licenses. So for those of you that haven't watched any of the videos with the driver's licenses, what happens is, if you are from South Africa, you can drive around on your South African driver's license for the first 3 months that you're here. But in that time, you need to make a booking to convert your driver's license to your new Canadian or BC driver's license. I know BC because this is where we are. Your BC driver's license. And your BC driver's license is not as easy to get as you would think. We did the little, the knowledge test is simple. You learn the signs and everything, and it's all good. But, especially now with COVID, there's been a lot of issues where they just kind of, you know, getting bookings is an absolute pain in the arse. These guys are backed up for months. You can now get a booking for January next year if you try it. So there's a little bit of an issue there. You've got a 3-month driver's license. You can drive on your South African license for 3 months, but it's going to take you 6 months to get a booking to actually go and do your license. And then, trust me, most people fail at their first time. It's generally not a first time going. It's hard, but it's not that it's hard. It's hard because the rules are the same. I mean, driving is driving. Follow the signs. Do all of this, and you know, stick to some of the basic rules. The problem here is that they've just got a crap load of signage, and if you miss one, you're screwed. You know, and that's, I guess, the core of the issue. So if you're going to be coming over here, make sure that you action your driver's license as quick as possible, and understand that you might need to Uber around or use the bus. Oh, that's another absolutely amazing thing, is the buses. I mean, you can freaking go anywhere with the bus. Yeah, it means you're going to have to walk a little bit, but even here where we are in West Van, on the far end, basically, we got bus stops just down the road there. So it's about, I guess, about a 200-300 meter walk to the bus stop. And then we can catch a bus all the way into town. And frankly, and funnily enough, it's actually quicker. We went out on Friday night. It was actually quicker catching the bus to go to town than driving with a car. Because if you go over that beautiful bridge over there, that Lionsgate Bridge, for some reason, that way in the afternoons it turns into a single lane, and it's just gridlocked. It just takes forever to get across the bridge. But buses have a special lane that they can go around all the traffic and squeeze in front on the bridge. So buses actually get you across the bridge a lot faster than your car would. Interesting, eh? Anyway, yeah, so public transport really is good over here, and it's safe, and you feel, you know, you don't feel, I mean, even the subways in New York and things like that, you always feel a little bit like, what's happening, you know. Over here, we've never had that. I mean, we've been on the bus, and it's like, you feel fine. Actually, to be quite frank, on Friday night on the way back, I was a little bit tipsy on the bus. I think people were looking at me going, anyway, try not to be there again, but it happens occasionally. Yeah, I think that's about it. You know, if there's any specific questions you guys might have about how we find it, or things like that, feel free to message me or leave a comment, and I'll make another video about it. But overall, I think it's a great move. Am I happy? I'm very, very happy. We are all actually very happy here. Oh, well, obviously I didn't talk about one of the key negative things, I guess, and that is, you know, missing your family and friends, which is kind of a scary bit, you know. It's, well, that's the worst bit, really. I mean, we've got grannies, my mother, Belinda's mom and dad, my sister, Belinda's brothers and sister. You know, there's a lot of family back home and a lot of friends back home. And the one thing with living in Vancouver is that your time zone is just so far apart. I mean, we are 9 hours behind South Africa. So literally, we've got 2 small windows to speak to South Africa. Early morning when we wake up, and at night late when we go to sleep, you know, after 9, because 9 o'clock in the evening by us would be, what's it, 6 o'clock in the morning over there. So you've got 2 small windows. Now, if you've got elderly parents that you're speaking to, the chances are that the 6 a.m. in the morning is not going to fit them. So really, our only chance to speak to the parents is at night. In the mornings, our time, early, make a call, get them on the phone. We bought these little Facebook portals for them to make it easy, so we video call. But it's you know, it's not, it's hard. You kind of have to make a point, otherwise you are going to start missing calls and you're going to start missing family, you know. So we've made a point, every Sunday morning we phone the parents for a start. As far as friends go, the worst thing is really, yes, your mates like call you when they had a few beers, or they're standing in the bar at a braai, and then it's your morning and you are just not on the same vibe. Or when you call them at night when you're having a braai at 6 a.m. in South Africa, so they're not on the same vibe. And you do tend to go long periods of time without speaking to your friends in South Africa, and that's something that you should maybe do, you know, is just kind of try and set away specific times to call people, get into a routine and just check in with them, you know. So yes, we miss the friends in South Africa. That is sad, you know. It's one of those things, but weighing it up against everything else, we are making new friends here. Obviously, we're not going to make the same connections like we had with people that we've known for 30 years, but well, who knows, maybe we will. But yeah, that's one thing that we kind of miss. Hopefully we'll get rich enough and bring all the friends over to come and visit. What else is there? Yeah, so that's one of the hardest things, family and friends. And then, of course, I guess the worst is when something happens on that side. I mean, when they had those riots in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng a couple of weeks ago in South Africa, you know, you're sitting over here and you've got 2 very strong feelings in your heart. You know, the first one is like, thank God I'm here and I've got my family here, and we are not in that dangerous situation, or we are not there where things can go wrong so badly so quickly. But at the same time, you are also, shit, the rest of my family and my friends are there, and I'm worried, you know. So that's scary. And then, of course, obviously, you know, when family gets sick. A while ago, Belinda's dad got a little sick, and then, you know, he was not looking too well. And that eats at you, because you're sitting here far away. You want to be there. You want to go and help. You want to be part of solving what the problem is. Thank God he's much better right now, so everything's fine. He's healthy and strong again. But, you know, that is scary. That is not nice. That's the worst part of it. So, but, you know, you've got to give up some things to have an overall, make it better overall. They also understand. I mean, all our parents are like, yeah, stay there, enjoy your lives there, build yourself a home there. It's better, it's less risky than what's going on in South Africa. Does that mean we don't like South Africa? No, God, no. We love South Africa. South Africa is our home. Well, not our home anymore, but South Africa is home to more people that we love than anywhere else in the world. So yes, we want to support South Africa and we want to be strong for South Africa. Just because we got out doesn't mean we've given up. I mean, I try and send stuff back to South Africa. If I find work, we've got all our design, all of that stuff still happens in South Africa. And I prefer, when I can and I see any work that I can send to South Africa, I do that, because I believe that South Africa, the chance that South Africa has of surviving is by bringing enough money in. You know, I think one of the biggest problems that country has is the absolute poverty. There's just too many poor people, and that's where problems arise, you know. But anyway, we're not here to talk about South Africa. But that's one of the hard things is missing your family and friends, and not being able to connect with them. Everything else, all things considered, we are super happy, and we are trying everything we can to actually get a PR and stay here permanently and make this our home and our kids' home, because I really do believe that it will give them a much better future, and it will give them a much better chance to actually grow and become somebody important and have jobs that build families in the future. You know, it's got a better trajectory and a better access to the world than South Africa. All right, well, I guess that's about it. You guys must have a good one. Please let me know if there's anything I missed out or anything that you want to know more about. I am going away for the next week. My loyal followers, people that watch these videos daily, we are going off to a cabin in the woods out in past Whistler, about 5 hours away. So on a lake, there's not going to be a lot of internet, so I'm going to shoot a lot of footage going there, but I'm not going to have a way to get them online. So if I do disappear from the channel, or I don't upload much videos this week, then no, it's about that. I am going to queue a couple of videos though, because we're going to go to the beaches and I'll do a few videos. I'll try and queue stuff for the next week. All right, guys, cheers.